I'd like to call a meeting to order. This meeting is being held in the council chambers and is open for public attendance and participation. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chair Brookman,
Here.
Vice Chair Joel,
Here.
Commissioner McFarlane, Commissioner Blankenship,
Here.
Commissioner Sluter, County Liaison Campbell.
Thank you. Next, we have the pledge. Vice Chair Joel, can you please lead us in the pledge? You are welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment on items not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. Comments on controversial items may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. Members of the public submitted written requests at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be normally allotted 5 minutes to speak. Do we have any written requests?
We have no request.
Thank you. Moving on. Appearance of interested citizens. Members of the public may address the Planning Commission on items of interest that are within the city's jurisdiction. Individuals addressing general comments are encouraged to limit their statements to 3 minutes. Do I have any comments from the public? As we address each item. Thank you. Agenda modifications. Is there any interest in modifying the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move along. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time that commission votes on the motion, unless members of the Planning Commission request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. Is there any comment on the consent calendar for item 2? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for comments or action. Can I get a motion to approve item 2 on the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes and the regular meeting minutes.
Can I get a second? Having a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Minutes from August 27th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed? Motion passes. Business items. Item number 3, consideration of tentative subdivision map 24-05 and pre-annexation rezone RZ 24-05, plan development 20, Elmer West subdivision located on the west side of Elmer Avenue. Presentation by Jaspreet Kaur, Senior Planner.
Hi, good evening. So tonight I will be presenting to you the Elmer West subdivision map. So there are 3 different entitlements with this project. So we have the tentative subdivision map, a rezone, as well as a planned development. And so this project tonight is going to be a planned development, which will be a rezone, and the subdivision is going to be for 55 new single-family residential lots. So this project is located on the west side of Elmer Avenue, and it's actually outside of city limits, but within the city's adopted sphere of influence. So it's highlighted here on the screen in yellow, and the dotted red line is the current city limits. And the bordering uses, we do have single family to the north, south, east, and west of the site. So the proposal, this parcel is a 10.13 acre parcel, and we will be splitting it into 53 single-family residential lots with a density of 5.53 dwelling units per acre, which is in line with our general plan. So the map that was presented in the staff report, we do have a couple changes that I just want to point out, and it will be reflected in the recommendation as well. So the location map that was in the packet and staff report that was distributed, it had additional proposed subdivisions that are not in effect yet, as well as we had a comment in there. So the comment has been updated regarding the wooden fence. So a new wood fence will be installed on or adjacent to property line at the time of home construction if needed. So that's the only change is it states that if a new fence is needed, it will be installed. So we have the rezone. So the existing zoning is a single-family residential combining X20 district. So it does have a special overlay. And the new proposed zoning will be a planned development 20, and I'll go into further detail of what that is. So the X20 overlay district was adopted in the 2004 general plan, and it implemented pre-annexation zoning. However, newer policies and programs have been adopted, which makes the requirements duplicate. So we, as staff, have determined to remove the X20 overlay district. So we also have a planned development. So these are development standards that will apply to this parcel specifically. So I have presented on this screen, you'll see that we have our R1 development standards. So this is what's currently listed in the municipal code. And then you'll see here the planned development 20. So these are going to be the requirements this subdivision is required. So most of it you'll see is going to be the minimum lot size has changed, where we're going from a minimum of 5,000 square feet or 6,000 square feet for a corner lot to a 4,000 square feet interior lot or 5,500 for corner lots. Another big change that you'll see is going to be the maximum lot coverage. So as developers are coming into the city, one of the issues you can say that we have come across is lot coverage. So in the municipal code for our R1 zone, it is required for 40% for a two-story residence and 45% for a single story. And so what the developer is proposing here is going to be 45% for a two-story residence and 55% for a single story. So as the lots are slightly smaller, the lot coverage is larger. Therefore, there is going to be that planned development proposed. With the minimum yards, it's still pretty much very standard. The only thing that has changed that was going to be proposed is going to be the setbacks for the porch, and then I believe actually they had requested an 18-foot for the garages, if I remember correctly. I think that might be an error on my presentation, but the building height will remain the same. So compatibility with neighboring uses, as mentioned, this parcel is surrounded by residential uses. Therefore, it will, be in line. And then we have added a condition of approval to minimize conflicts with the existing adjacent single-story homes. So we have requested homes along here. They will be restricted to a single story only, or the back-facing windows on the upper floor must be at least 6 feet above the floor. A traffic study was also prepared for this project. So the project will generate 519 daily trips under weekday traffic conditions, and the daily trips will close to double with the existing traffic conditions. However, the traffic study has determined that Elmer Avenue will continue to be a low-volume roadway with approximately 100 projected daily trips. So the traffic study conclusion, it concludes that the existing conditions plus Elmer West subdivision will operate consistent with the 2040 general plan policy and strives to maintain a target level of service D. And there were recommendations found in our traffic study. So I have the 4 presented on the screen. The first is that the project shall pay the city traffic development impact fees The project shall complete half-street widening of Elmer Avenue along the project frontage. We also have a condition of approval that requires the widening of Elmer Avenue to a minimum of 20-foot paved width between the project and Butte House Road, so south from Elmer Avenue. Curb extensions are proposed along Elmer Avenue and Amisha Loop to narrow the roadway, as well as a rapid flashing beacon will be installed. So here I've shown on the screen, highlighted in blue, this is where they will do the full property frontage improvement. So that includes the sidewalk, curb, and gutter. And then in yellow is where it will be widened to 20 feet on the west side of Elmer. And here is the windings along. This is Elmer, and then this is Amisha Loop North, where it will curb out, and then just a picture of a flashing beacon to help with connectivity to the adjacent Thiara Estate subdivision. So this project, once it is approved, contingently approved here tonight, it will be going to our city council for approval of the rezone and plan development. And then they are also required to annex into the city as well. So before the applicant can apply to LAFCO, they are required to get all city approvals. And an environmental was prepared, and so after the review, there's no evidence in the record that the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment, and we do recommend adoption of a mitigated negative declaration. And so with each of the components of the entitlement, we are required to make findings. So these findings were presented in the staff report, which are found in the resolution. So we have our rezone findings. I can go into it further if needed. They are presented on the screen. We also have our plan development findings. Again, these are all provided in the staff report, and as well as the tentative map findings. So with that being said, I do have a couple, one more revision actually, which is highlighted here in red. So tonight my recommendation is to conduct a public hearing. We will be adopting a resolution recommending City Council approve the environmental assessment subject to the mitigation measures to approve rezone 2405 and plan development, as well as to adopt a resolution contingently approving the updated tentative subdivision map. So again, that was the one that I presented earlier in my presentation. And with the proposed revised conditions of approval, to my commissioners, I did present an updated conditions of approval. So condition of approval number 20, as seen on page 6, we did add that the only hard surface, concrete or pavers can be placed in the street planter area other than the standard driveway serving the residents, as well as for the attached sidewalk option. Again, this is on page 6 under 2, 1B, that the space of the bulb outs, they shall be what was reflected on the map. I believe in the ones that were in our staff report, it had the specific distance. However, that won't work with this project. So they will be as presented here on the map. Will be the location of the bulb outs. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that was a lot. And then we do also have Sean Menard here in the audience to help answer questions. And he is the project engineer.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
I just wanted to know if there's a projected time frame when Amir Drive was going to be completed, right? If we're diverting traffic that direction, when is that going to be completed?
So Amira Drive, I believe, is part of the Thiara Estates subdivision?
Yes.
Yes. So that is actually in the works right now. So the developer, Sean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they are planning to do it simultaneously. So once it is annexed, Thiara Estates, they did have their improvement plans in, so they are planning on developing soon.
Thank you.
We've got one. Go ahead.
I had a question to branch off what he said. So that Amira Drive, is that going to divert traffic a little bit towards the Blevin or towards the school? So there won't be as much traffic on Elmer? Like, is that a through street to go to, I forgot what road that is, but on the Blevin side?
Is that Thule?
Thule, yeah. Okay, so it will divert some traffic off of Elmer.
So the public hearing isn't open at this point. What I would say in response is that the Thiara Estates subdivision provides additional connectivity, yes, between Elmer and Tully Parkway that doesn't exist today.
Okay, thank you.
I've got one question just to get it on the record. With the two-story homes being restricted to having back wall windows 6 feet above the floor, is there going to be a stipulation in there that once the homes are built and 4 years from now, the homeowner cannot do a remodel and throw a balcony and windows on the backside of those existing single-family homes?
So,
Go ahead, Jaspreet.
okay, so we do add in this condition to be respectful. However, the municipal code actually doesn't require it at all. And so this is something that really as staff and the developer, the applicant, that we're working to be a good neighbor, you can say, that we do add that into our conditions of approval. If you would like to restrict, future balconies, that would have to be added into the condition of approval. But as of now, if it is stated in the condition of approval that the single story, they can't have it's either single story or if it's a multi-story, that the windows have to be at least 6 feet above the floor. That lives on with the subdivision as well as the home. So if someone was to come in for a building permit to put in the windows, they are actually restricted.
Thank you.
All righty. Moving on to the public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing. Any members of the public would like to speak? Now would be your opportunity. Go ahead, you step up to the podium, state your name. If you would press there's a button there to press, they'll turn on the mic.
Sorry, it's my first time. But my name is John James Peter McKenzie. I live at 2116 Elmer B. I can't really tell from the relation of that map, but either north or south of that division there, the four homes that are kind of by them. If you have the mouse, maybe you could highlight it for me. Left.
Here?
Those ones, yes.
Okay.
So there's consideration for not having two-story homes on the other two sides, but I would also like that same consideration because it would also affect me in the same way it would affect those people in those other homes.
Jaspreet? I don't know what to say to that one.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is an opportunity for the public to provide comment.
Okay.
We can take notes and staff can come back and address after the public hearing.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I just think that would be in the fairness of equity, seeing as been presented to those people as well, that I should be able to have that same privilege.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes, Robert Bookie. I live at 2146 Elmer Avenue. And my concern is the amount of traffic we're going to have in the intersection of Elmer and Butte House. It's too close to the other street to put a stoplight in there. It's really difficult to get out of there now, and with another 800 people going down that street, it's going to be very difficult to get out of there. I would like to see 4 lanes put across there and a turn lane so that Elmer can turn to the left, east, without having to deal with the traffic on the other side. That would be the only solution that I can come up with that would help this traffic congestion that you're going to create here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jason Smith. I live at 2033 Elmer Avenue, directly across the street. I have a few things. So I'm kind of a known face around here on Elmer issues. With the traffic study that was done, did that study take into account the extra traffic that is going to come from the 33 homes with Tiara Estates, this proposal, as well as the other 43 homes that you guys are planning that is not on this proposal? And then, as well as, the city also already neglects to trim the trees at Butte House in Elmer to allow proper visibility to safely turn onto Butte House. There's currently many properties on Elmer that have a variety of farm animals. If we're annexed, what are we supposed to do with our animals? The current property owner of the proposed development has already damaged Elmer Road on multiple occasions by driving a dozer across Elmer in preparation for this development. And we have had a couple different instances, me and my family, with developers in this area of coming to a deal with them and city council about providing privacy trees, things like that, that were supposed to be provided before the finish of the development, that the homes are now being sold and those trees were still never provided. So that is pretty much everything I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anita Elphick. I live in 5040 Fortner Road here in Yuba City. As a planning commission, I'm looking at this proposal, and I know you even said on the your agenda that you plan on passing this. And I think that that is a real disservice to our community. The traffic is a huge issue, and everyone, the city's doing it, the county's doing it, and evidently the planning commission is doing it too. It doesn't matter that it's a D or an F class traffic, which I think in this one you said it was a D. Okay, what does D mean? Does everyone understand what D means? That it is very, very difficult to get through on that traffic on that particular road. And this is a D after all the mitigation. I, as a citizen of this community, do not feel that that is appropriate. Our levels are set way down low when they should be rising and coming up with a better community rather than a ragtag, which is happening here. It's going to be in 10 years. What would that community be? You have a 5,000 square foot lot. It was designed for 6, evidently, which is terrible at 6. But they've been changed tonight to 5. And to approve it when there's been these huge changes, and they are huge, is not right. You're not serving the districts and the areas you've been voted to serve. I think that the prior gentleman, when he was talking about the increased traffic from the other roads and this other housing units that are coming in, are going to affect it so negatively in those communities. So I know you haven't given any answer. You haven't given any answer. When you bring it back, you will. But as to what's going to happen to the existing homes there as far as if they have chickens, whatever they have, which is legal at this time. And you annex it and you put in these little Cracker Jack boxes. And what are they for? They are for the profit of the developer, not the community, not the city. And I think as a planning commission, you need to look at that as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick Blue, 2290 Elmer Avenue. I got to hold a button. Been there 45 years. I fought the annexation because during evacuations, nobody goes anywhere. Took 6 hours during the Orville flood to get from Elmer Avenue to Sutter. That's not acceptable. Are you going to be responsible for all the citizens that drown in their vehicles should the dam actually break? Another question. Are all these homes going to have water and sewer or septic and well? That makes a huge difference. And the sidewalk, you're going to have, 200 yards of sidewalk on Elmer and the rest is dirt? I mean, I'm not against moving forward, but a better plan would be a lot better plan. That's way too many houses in 10 acres. Traffic is ridiculous. That study is a joke. They must have studied it at 2 in the morning. I actually put a sign on my mailbox saying, please slow down, and on the other side, 35. They flipped off, yelled at, honked at. People go 100 miles an hour on that road. So I don't agree with that. 55 houses there, 35 across the street. That's adding a lot of traffic. And now we got Elmer on the other side of Butte House. When that opens up, I think gotta have fast cars. You're gonna need them to get across. That's all. I just think it's poor planning.
Thank you.
Hi, Jason Smith. I have one more point that I would like to bring up. The current property is zoned R1X20, which you spoke about in your presentation. And you spoke about there was no reason to have X20 anymore because that was covered under other city codes or whatever the language was. The way that I read X20 in the proposal was R1X20 is only allowed to have 1 residence per acre. Is that correct? So that is a difference.
Mike Smith, 1979 Elmer. The influx of the traffic or widening one side of the street, which is 20 feet, those people have to get back in to their homes on the other side of the street, just trying to wondering if you're getting the traffic and you're mitigating the traffic influx, and would like to know when the traffic they took the traffic the study. If they did it at midnight or if they did it at 5 in the morning, they did it at 8. Because basically, any time a traffic study's done, I can tell you when the schools are going and everybody's dropping their kids off, whether it be Terra Buena or turning off on Blevins or whatever it may be. Thank God I go to school or go to work a little earlier. Sometimes I get late, but there is days that you have to wait there on Elmer Avenue for at least 15 or 20 minutes to get out on Butte House. And those studies probably didn't take into consideration those times of day when schools come out and when they go in, but it is very hard to get on the road. I finally decided to go out Pease and go to work, and it's another 3 or 4 miles to get to work. The other issue I have is, he talked about sewer and all of that. The main problem with Elmer right there about where I live is when it rains, there's no place for the rain to go. And you start developing that area, there's no place, because that's going to be concrete houses and whatever. Where is that runoff going to actually go to? Is there going to be drainage and whatever in there when they're developing that thing, or are they just going to plug it and be done with it? Because that rain's got to go somewhere. And I can tell you, Elmer, when the grounds get saturated, there's no place for the water to go, so it just builds up.
Thank you.
Calvin Barrett, 2000 Elmer. I got a couple of questions. When you re-annex that property, is that going to re-annex the property surrounding that to the city instead of where we are county? Secondly, that is a huge chunk of property. For the rain to get into the ground and refill our wells, if we don't have that path for the rain to get into the ground, into our wells, we're going to go dry. What are they going to do for us when that happens? Are they going to pump the groundwater like they did on the subdivision on the other side of Butte House and dump the water into the sewer and lower the level of our wells so they can build houses there? The other point I want to make, talking about the two-story stuff, we can't build a two-story addition to our house, but it's okay for them to build a two-story addition on our fence line when we're already there? I need some clarification if that's the case. If they're going to put two-story houses on our fence line, but we can't put a two-story house on our fence line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. There we go. Virginia Smith, 1979 Elmer Avenue. I was here and spoke when the Thiara Estates was passed through. And I know a lot of my neighbors came and spoke, and excuse me, they didn't want to come speak tonight because they said it's useless. You're going to pass it anyway. But I ask you, please, consider this. Don't just give the developers the ability to do this. You represent us, not just the developer, but you represent us and the citizens that have lived there. I've lived there over 30 years. I don't want all of this traffic in my neighborhood. We're on the opposite side of the street from this on Elmer Avenue, and they're going to want to take part of our front yards to make the street wider, to make sidewalks. You know, that's going to take some of the sidewalks up to nearly the front doors of some of those houses. You have children in those houses. It's not going to be safe for them to come out of their front yard. They're not going to, and those lots aren't that large anyway. They're not going to have, the people that have lived there for years will not have the ability to use their property at all. And to consider letting less than 5,000 square foot homes, that's just asinine. It's just, I mean, it won't be safe for fire trucks. It won't be safe for police. It will just be a disaster. I mean, it's scheduled for one house per 1 acre. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and let something like this pass, please at least keep it, reasonable. I mean, a 5,000 square foot lot is not reasonable in a total rural area. It's not what we bought there to be in the county, to have animals. And at the Thiara meeting, when I was here for that, someone on the council said, maybe it's time for you to move. Well, okay, consider the people that have low interest loans, that have low property taxes. So you're going to require them to move into, it would have to be a lesser home because you're at huge interest rates now, more property tax. People can't afford to do that. You have to downgrade everything to give And what's to benefit from these? Developers. That's the only people that are going to benefit from this are the people that are trying to develop that land. And the rest of us don't want it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anita Elphick again, and there was one other item I wanted to bring up to the Planning Commission. Recently, there was a MSR study, it was just finished, on the fire districts within this county. And in every one of them, it said that, you know, the financing is not that good. It's adequate for now, but not for additional expansion. So you're adding this, and as a planning commission, have you questioned and looked at what the plans are from this developer or developers to augment, mitigate, in real words, real dollars, real thoughts on the fire? And you can throw in the police at the same thing, the security. You have been given tonight several exceptions to what has been presented to you that you have sort of agreed to already to pass. You have given enough changes to justify saying, we want to look at this one more time. And I really hope with thoughtfulness and a real concern for the community, you do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My name is Patty Silvera, and I'm at 2290 Elmer Avenue. And we've heard all your traffic situations for school in the morning, turning left onto Butte House. So if these 55 homes have an average in California, maybe 2 cars per home, all the other residents here that have at least 2 cars per home, the street cars coming across. And so when that flood was apparent and they gave evacuation orders, if it took 6 hours for the current residents to get off of Elmer, let's just imagine 110 cars trying to get off that same street, whether they want to go on Butte one way or the other or down to Pease. Once they get to Pease, where are they going to go? There is nowhere to go. Having lived in Las Vegas community, this is like a nightmare compared to the Heritage and Cadence community I've just moved from. I've also lived through wildfires in Southern California. And maybe this won't happen, but nobody thought it was going to happen to Palisades. And look what happened in Paradise. All it takes is one idiot to do something. And then where are you going to go? How are the fire trucks going to come in? You can't have a fire truck on Elmer Avenue and emergency in the same proximity. They can't pass each other. So really, you're dancing about morning traffic, and maybe I'm being a little over-concerned about a disaster, but I've lived in a fire with fire coming up my house in Southern California. It is not fun. There is nowhere to go when you're trapped. I feel like all of these residents, new or old, are going to be trapped. And who is going to take responsibility? We have seen in California what the government does for burned out land, burned out property. They do absolutely flipping nothing. It's something to consider before you add another 110 cars plus another 68 from the other ones and whatever the houses are, all without an exit plan. She's talking about traffic and this plan and this plan for traffic. Where the hell's the exit plan? What freeway are they going to go on? What Main Street? Butte House couldn't accommodate it. Pease can't accommodate it. And then when those orchards start burning, hell, you might as well just bend over and kiss your life goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last speaker.
Good evening. I'm Claudia Greenwood, 1978 Elmer Avenue. This area is a sanctuary for several birds, and wildlife. How is your environmental planning going to address the impact to this wildlife? Fiscal impact. What is the fiscal or financial impact to existing neighbors, now or later? Traffic. Yes. We live there. We know about the traffic. Noise. What is going to be the impact to the existing neighbor or noise? Working hours. That is also environmental pollution. When is the Planning Commission or the City of Yuba City going to address the existing issue with the road condition and potholes? This Yuba City looks like a third world country. I know what it is to live in a third world country. It has been too long and there is no solution. Everywhere, Butte House, Tharp, Walton, Garden Highway, Bogue Road, Franklin Avenue, everywhere, roads are terrible. Please do not approve this development. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is John. Live off of Elmer there, 2000G. And the guys are talking about all the traffic, that's going to be bad, but these guys don't know the new houses they built right across from Elmer, 32 of them. And that traffic hasn't taken effect yet. So we're going to get a eye opener there and see how that goes. And then you're going to build 55 more. So it's going to be bad. But the reason I was up here to really ask is, see, that's going to be annexed in. It's going to be sewer and septic, be city. And what about the adjacent people around there? Are they eligible to hook into the city water or the sewer? You know? Good enough question.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sean Menard with MHM Engineering. I represent the landowner on this property. A lot of these questions are very good, and we went through a lot of this working with staff over the last year getting to this point. I'll just try to jot down and go through some of the questions they have, then if you could have any questions you could ask me. The first one was the two-story question. The one gentleman on the north boundary. There's a condition, if you'll see in the conditions of approval, any of the lots that back up to an existing home have a condition that Jaspreet mentioned that about the two-story or the no windows higher than a 6 foot. So that's on all three sides. So that's in the conditions.
Sean, excuse me, Sean, I'm just going to interrupt you really quick. So I do want to just point out that we do have that condition of approval applies to phase 1, lots 1 through 10, as well as 14 and 15.
And then also in 2 along.
Yes, correct. Just to the gentleman's point of being on the northern side.
Okay, yeah. So, but it was like adjacent to his house. We understand traffic is. I've worked on a couple projects in this area. We did the first. We called it Valencia for Interwest Homes. Been to these meetings. It's been a concern for years. We didn't do the entitlements for the Tiara project, but we did the improvement plans and did the annexation. So we know the concerns. So we went through the whole traffic study process, worked with staff. And I agree with, I think Jason's the one that mentioned at the intersection of Blevins or Elmer and Butte House. I agree. There's a sight distance issue with that tree. That should be removed. That was the biggest thing I noticed because I drove it a couple times to see. So I'm not saying that what they're saying is wrong. It just, we have to work within parameters, and we've met all those parameters. But I agree. I think one of the objects of this project as part of all the development is remove that tree so there's not a sight distance issue. So one of the things going through when we go through a project, we make sure the zoning's correct. It is. The general plan, it meets the general plan. One of the things on that just wanted to clarify the lot sizes. Our smallest, most of our lots are 5,850 square feet. That's our typical lot. That little scenario was just an example. If they were below that, you had certain criteria. If you're above that another criteria, but all of our lots are 55 and greater, 5,500 and greater, which actually meets the R1 zoning as it stands today. The way it stands today is has to be 5,000 internal and 55 or 6,000 on the corner. We meet that. Our lots are all 5,800 or greater, and our corner lots are 7,775. So we're meeting the R1 standard without any modifications. I just want to clarify that. Drainage, that was asked a couple times. We will be running storm drain pipes. And I think Jaspreet mentioned, this project really has to follow the Tiara project because the storm drainage will come through there, large storm drain pipes. We'll put storm drain pipes in Elmer Road and serve the subdivisions. There'll be storm drainage in front of the houses in your lots there. So all the drainage will go into a collection system, eventually go over to Blevins, and then goes down Blevins, gets to Butte House Road, and then meanders out Harder Parkway out to what they call Live Oak Canal. So all the drainage will be collected in an underground conveyance system from the subdivision, Elmer Road, and then but the source will be through the Tiara project. Sewer and water. Sewer will be no septic, will be annexed into the city. It'll all be city water and city sewer. I think the gentleman asked if whether can we hook into it. That'll be a question for the city. But typically, if we had some, like your house, if you wanted to annex into it or to the city, you'd be able to hook into that city sewer and water. But I'll let the city staff explain that part. Landowner application. Oh, the question about the annexation, when we annex, go through the LAFCO process, we don't need to annex any other, it'll only be this property. Now, can any of the adjacent property owners ask to be added? Absolutely, but we're only going to request our piece of property. So we're not going to take anybody else into the city that doesn't want to be. That's how our application will go in. But you could work with the Sutter County LAFCO and request to be added if you wanted to. For instance, if you wanted to get city services, city water, city sewer, but our project will not do that. There was another question, I think Anita mentioned it, about the fire, paying your fair share of the fire, police, and everything. You look at condition 37, this project requires a CFD to be formed, and we have to pay that incremental difference because Yuba City did an analysis many years ago to determine what impact a residential house has on city services. And so they have to pay a fee to make them, like a better term, no impact on the services. So there'll be a fee. These houses will be in a CFD, and they'll have to pay that difference so that they won't have an impact on, and I think it mentions, Doug probably, fire, police, basically public safety items. So I think.
Yeah, Sean, just for the benefit of the audience, so that condition includes police, fire, parks, drainage, and ongoing street maintenance costs.
And then lastly, I think someone asked about the timing of Tiara Estates. We're not necessarily going to build at the same time, but this project has to go after Tiara. Most likely, there's a good chance they'll go together, but for sure it'll go after Tiara. This project won't go before that. It can't. There's just simply because of the services. They need water through that project. They need sewer through that project. And then one of the other things, one of the traffic study mitigation was to widen the road to 20 feet and then a 2-foot AB shoulder. One of the things this project, we analyzed different things, how to get sewer to the project. We can get sewer through Tiara, but it results in some extra costs. We have to elevate the lot pads, it was very costly. So most likely the sewer is going to come from Butte House Road up Elmer. And when we do that, the road, one lane, that's why it's on the west side, where it'll be basically, for sure, half that road will be a completely new road after we build the sewer line up. Mostly, it might even be more than that. So, yeah, I know. So the road right now, after all the surveys, is about 19 to 20 feet. So we'll have to widen it a little bit. But by the time we do the sewer line, it'll be all a complete, at least half. And then obviously we'll probably work with the city, well, actually technically the county, because that part will be in the county. So we'll work with the county, and we'll probably have to slurry seal or do something on the other half, depending how much it gets impacted during the construction period. So I tried to answer all the questions I had.
Just a quick clarification, because there were some comments made, and I know you've done the detailed work on this. So the road widening of Elmer to 20 feet, that is all happening within the existing right-of-way that is currently out there, correct?
That is correct. The existing right-of-way is 40 feet, and so actually some areas it's wider depending on how the lots were created. So all the improvements will be within the existing right-of-way. There'll be no need to acquire right-of-way or impact any. It'll all be within the current road right-of-way. Now, if you have any other questions, I'll be free to answer them. We spent a lot of time on this project to get to where we are, so hopefully it addresses some of their concerns. I mean, it's not going to address all their concerns. Traffic's, it will lower the level of service, but it still meets the city's criteria.
I'm good. Thank you, Sean.
Okay. Thank you.
You had to push the button.
2290 Elmer Avenue. We hadn't been there 45 years. My concern is 99 Pease Road interchange. Never got put in because they lowered developer fees and they spent that money. Is that ever coming back? Tully Road, that ain't moved. Is that ever coming back? We need more ways to get out of that area. I've seen 4 evacuations since I've been there, and they don't go anywhere. And if you have one on the Sunday of the Sikh parade, I have videos of my street, brake lights, both sides of the street, not moved for hours. There needs to be some more planning on how to get people out of there. Right now, there is none. Tully Parkway, you could they built 34 houses across from me, put in a wall, and now I flood in my front yard every year. So that took the drainage away. That's a proof right there. 45 years I never flooded until they built those homes. So, I mean, it's poor planning in my eyes. The lot size is ridiculous. If somebody has a dog, they're going to have to walk them because they'll be running into the fences in the backyard. That's just, it's money grubbing. Make a bigger lot, sell a few less homes.
All right, thank you. All right, you're going to be the last speaker. We need to move along after this.
Just one.
Okay.
He's saying that the road is 20 foot. That's correct. But the right-of-way from the center line of the road to where they're wanting to put the sidewalks and that stuff is a 30-foot right-of-way. Some of those houses that are on Elmer, if you have that 30-foot right-of-way from the center line of that road, that only leaves about 5 feet from the front door of those homes. And I don't know what the specs are that you're supposed to have, but some of those things they're only 5 feet, and that's kind of scary if you got a kid around.
Thank you.
Virginia Smith, and I just want to address, your engineer said that we meet all the requirements for the zoning. No, you meet all the requirements for the new zoning you're asking for. You do not meet the zoning requirements that currently exist. And you said many years ago they came up with the fees for emergency services. Well, I'm sure since many years ago till now, those fees should have been raised. We'll end up in a situation like the city of Lincoln did when they just kept allowing new development and not collecting enough fees, and then they didn't have money to run their fire departments or the police departments. We don't want that to happen here. And when they do curbs and sidewalks on that small stretch, who pays for the rest of them? The homeowners? That's very expensive. And I know that will be at the homeowners will have to pay those fees. And that's something we don't have to do right now. We shouldn't have to do it because you shouldn't approve this.
Thank you.
Sean Menard with MHM Engineering again. The question, he was right. The half width is 30 feet, but there's a half width on the other side. So a lot of the right of way is 60 feet wide. There's some areas that are a little bit wider, but the road is down the center. So all the improvements will still be of the 20 feet will be in the right of way. But again, some areas are wider than as they, like I said, when they subdivide, some of the county required extra right of way. So he was correct. And when I said a long time ago, I guess that I should have clarified. When they did the Butte Vista or Bogue Stewart Master Plan, which was in 2020, that's when they did this study for the cost. So I guess that was 5 years ago. So I didn't mean to say it was like, I thought that was a long time ago, but it wasn't like a long, long time. And so then they tied it to the ENR index, which is a engineering news record where it indexes costs based on construction costs. And they use San Francisco and the 20 cities. It's kind of a engineering type thing that takes construction costs and other factors in, and then they index it. So I think they use the ENR index, but if not, they use some other type of indexing. But it is indexed every year. So it goes up every year, just like the city's impact fees. They go up every year also.
All right, thank you. All right, I'd like to close the public hearing. Bring it back to the commission for a motion.
I make a motion to adopt and approve the business item recommendations B and C. Adopt a resolution recommending the City Council approve environmental assessment 24-12 by adopting a mitigated negative declaration subject to the mitigation measures and approve rezone 24-05 and plan development 20. And item C, which is adopt a resolution contingently approving TSM 24-05 to subdivide the 10.13 acres into 55 single-family residential lots.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I have a roll call vote, please?
So, Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, the motion, did you intend for the updated tentative subdivision map and the revised conditions of approval that were handed out to you tonight?
Yes.
Thank you. And just to confirm, so that confirms the motion, and does your second also for that?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chairperson Joel,
Yes. Aye.
Commissioner McFarlane,
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenship,
Yes.
Commissioner Sluter,
Yes.
and Chairperson Brookman.
No. Motion passes. I like it. All right, next we have item number 4, consideration of general plan amendment 25-01, rezone RZ 25-01 tentative subdivision map TSM 25-01 and plan development PD 21, the Ridge Estates located on the west side of El Margarita Road. Call for his presentation by Andrew Darrell, Assistant Planner.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good evening. Today I'll be presenting the Ridge Estates subdivision. So with this project, you'll be recommending the approval of the environmental assessment, general plan amendment, tentative subdivision map, rezone, and the plan development. You'll be recommending the approval of these except for the tentative subdivision map for approval by the City Council and contingently approving the tentative subdivision map on the contingent that the City Council approves the other entitlements. You may have also seen a mention of a development agreement in some of the documentation, but that has since been withdrawn by the applicant. So for the project site is located on 20.76 acres, located on the west side of El Margarita Road, approximately 1,850 feet south of State Route 20. To give some background on this project, going back to September 2010, the City Council approved the original rezoning of this site from R1 to the current zoning designation of R3 and CO X24 for a proposed subdivision with an independent living facility, senior condo units, and associated office buildings. Fast forward to April 2022, an application was submitted to rezone the entire site back to R1 with 51 single-family residential lots. The project was withdrawn by the applicant, and then this current year, in January, the current application was submitted. So for the existing land use designations, we have medium-density residential and office park. The proposed general amendment will change the designation of the approximately 8 acres or 4 acres of office and office park to medium density residential. The proposed project density is at 7.12 density units an acre, which meets the 6 to 14 density units an acre range for medium density residential. The existing zoning designations for the property are office, commercial, and multiple family residence districts. Since state law requires that the general plan and zoning designations be consistent, the rezoning of R3 and CO zones to the plan development will bring them into alignment with the medium density residential land use designation. Here you can see the modified standards on the table at the right for the plan development, which include lot coverage, setbacks, and lot size. The modified standards of the plan development will provide for more efficient use of the site and to better allow the property to develop at a medium density residential level. With the tentative subdivision map for the Ridge, there are 141 lots proposed, which will be built out with single family homes at a density of 7.12 units an acre. There are a few features that are proposed with the development. Throughout the interior streets, we have bulb outs for trees that are designed to provide extra root area, as well as serve as a traffic calming feature in the neighborhood. In addition, at the entrance to Escalante, we have a median center feature. This will prevent left turns in and out of the subdivision to prevent conflicts of traffic, as we have Blasovich and Florencio in close proximity. In addition, it's not pictured here, but on the northeast corner, we will have a pedestrian crossing with flashing beacons, as well as a pedestrian refuge island in the middle, and this will connect to the existing sidewalk going to River Valley High. And finally, there will be half-width improvements made to El Margarita Road, with a 12-foot travel lane, bike lane, curb and gutter, a 6-foot wide planter strip, 6-foot wide sidewalk, and a masonry wall along the El Margarita frontage. Just to go over the X24 Special Combining District, in essence, this designation was applied to properties in the area around 20 years ago to ensure improvements were made and services were funded. But since that time, city policies have made the zone district redundant. The compatibility with neighboring uses. The surrounding existing uses are orchards or orchards with single-family residences. Both the existing and planned land uses are compatible with the proposed single-family development. A condition is proposed to restrict adjacent lots adjacent to existing homes to be single-story or to use design methods to maintain privacy. The lots that are listed are at the northeast corner and the southeast corner, adjacent to the existing single-family residences. For traffic, a traffic study was prepared to study the impact of the project on the surrounding area. The study estimates that the project will generate an estimated 1,300 vehicle trips per day. There will be an impact to the level of service at El Margarita, especially at El Margarita and SR20, which is up here. To address this impact, a mitigation measure was proposed for the project that no more than 80 single-family residences or an equivalent amount of other types of development, as approved by the Public Works Director, shall be allowed on a first-come, first-served basis along the El Margarita corridor between SR20 and Franklin Road until such a time as the northern intersection is signalized or until the northbound traffic at that intersection is limited to right turns only. In addition, as listed in the conditions, specifically condition 15, a fair share analysis for the project impact on the surrounding intersections shall be prepared as a part of this project. Just a visualization of some of the traffic improvements. That is the future signalization or a limitation of left turns going northbound. Where the 2 is at the intersection of Spirit Drive and El Margarita, the developer will be installing all-way stop signs. 3 is what we discussed before, the pedestrian crossing and refuge island, and 4 is that median curb. So an environmental assessment was prepared for this project in accordance with the requirements of CEQA and the guidelines. Based upon the completed environmental assessment and identified mitigation measures, staff has determined that there is no evidence in the record that the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment and recommends adoption of a mitigated negative declaration for this project. In addition, since the environmental assessment was published publicly, we did revise the traffic mitigation measure 1. We just updated wording that clarifies and improved the process needed to consider changes to the number of residences that might trigger the mitigation, but this mitigation change is just as effective as the previous version. So the findings that are required to be made with each entitlement are shown on the screen. The evidence of these findings are also provided in the staff report and resolution, but I'll just be showing these on the screen, the findings that are required to be made. So here we have the general plan amendment and rezone findings. Then shown here are the development plan findings, and I can go over these more if need be. Same as well as with the tentative subdivision map findings. And I have the recommendation here is to conduct a public hearing and then adopt both these resolutions for the environmental assessment, general plan amendment, rezone, plan development, and the tentative subdivision map. Let me know if you have any questions, and we also have the representative of the applicant, Sean Menard, here to answer any questions as well.
Thank you. Any questions? I have a question. I currently live in the neighborhood there off of Toyon, and as traffic stands now, southbound traffic on El Margarita is a huge nightmare, trying to get onto Franklin to go either eastbound or westbound. Has the city considered at any point in time a three-way stop there? Not a light, just stop signs? With adding an extra 100 and some houses, that's going to make that an even worse nightmare.
Good evening, Planning Commission, Public Works Director Josh Wolf. We are looking towards a traffic signal as the ultimate goal, but we definitely can pursue an all-way stop warrant at that location. We can perform some data collection, get vehicle counts, conduct the traffic warrant, and then report back to you with the results.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And in addition, condition 15 also states that the as a part of the project, the following fee fair share calculation, that intersection will be considered to calculate the fair share contribution of this project for that intersection.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? All right. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Hello, I'm Sean Menard with MHM Engineering. I represent the applicant on this project. I was looking at the timeline. I was one of the other people in this audience here. We actually did the original annexation, or not annexation, rezone to what it currently is, and now we're rezoning it back to what it was. So actually not all the way back. It was originally R1, but the new state laws wouldn't allow us to go all the way back to R1, so we have what we have presented here tonight. So we've worked with city staff, we've worked with the conditions. We have no issues, and we look forward to moving this project forward. The one mitigation measure, traffic at El Margarita and State Route 20 is the biggest issue. And so there's a point where it hits that level of service goal and target. And so we have a condition in there that we can go to 80 lots. At that time, we'll probably try to do another traffic study. People find their way around, and we found, after a period of time, it doesn't really pan out the way traffic studies do. But if it does, then we have a condition in there. We have to remove that left turning movement or build a signal. So that's the ultimate plan, is to build a signal. That's in the city ultimate traffic study. But there's an interim solution to remove the left turning movement for a while until that happens. So if you have any other questions, I can try to answer them.
Any questions?
Thank you.
I think we're good. Thank you. All right. Close the public hearing. Bring it back for a motion.
I make a motion to adopt business item 4B and C. Adopt a resolution recommending the City Council approve environmental assessment 25-01 by adopting a mitigated negative declaration subject to the conditions of approval and mitigation measures, and approve the general plan amendment 25-01, rezone 25-01, and plan development 21. Lastly, to adopt a resolution contingently approving tentative subdivision map 25-01, the Ridge Estates.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner McFarlane,
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenship,
Yes.
Commissioner Sluder,
Yes.
Vice Chair Joel,
Yes.
and Chair Brookman.
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to item 5, consideration of zoning code amendment 25-02, revising the development standards for accessory dwelling units, ADUs, and junior accessory dwelling units, JADUs, for consistency with state law. Call for presentation by Doug Libby, Development Services Director.
Well, good evening, Chair. As you can see, I didn't quite bring in the crowd that Jaspreet did tonight. So before we start tonight's meeting, we handed out a memo to you. We basically updated some of the language in the ADU development standards to kind of better clarify the maximum square footage for detached and attached ADUs. So we do have the updated ordinance with that kind of small change on there. Okay, so why are we doing this? Well, our friends in the legislature, and I use that term friends loosely, they like to tinker with this law. And so almost annually, they are making changes to the law governing accessory dwelling units. So really, cities and counties, you'll see them very routinely bring forward these changes because we're required to make our ordinances consistent with that state law. And then we actually have to send them in to California HCD, Housing and Community Development. So some of you, because we do have a newer commission, is, well, what is an ADU? What is a JADU? Well, an ADU is a accessory dwelling unit. It's basically standalone living facilities, including kitchen, bathroom. You can see on the screen, they can be detached, they can be attached. A junior accessory dwelling unit is going to be within the existing footprint of the home, can be attached. Now, one unique feature of a JADU is that these things can share a kitchen. They can share the food preparation areas, but not a bathroom. Square footage wise, you'll see on the screen here, the JADU limited to a maximum of 500 square feet and an accessory dwelling unit, 1,200 square feet. So what are some of the benefits of this type of housing? Well, it's affordable. It doesn't require paying for additional land and a lot of new infrastructure. ADUs can provide a source of income for homeowners, which is really important. ADUs are built using traditional wood frame construction, thereby reducing costs versus other forms of construction. ADUs allow extended families to be near one another while maintaining privacy. They can provide as much living space as some apartments, condominiums. They're suited for a wide range of folks. And then ADUs give homeowners the flexibility to share independent living areas with family members and others, allowing older adults to age in place. So a couple of these really hit home with me is I actually have an ADU at my house. So I have my mother-in-law who lives on our property, and it provides her that flexibility. She has just under a 1,200 square foot unit. She's there so we can provide support for her, but she has her independence, and it works really well. So recent changes, as I noted, near annual changes are necessitating us as staff to bring forward these updates through this process. And our last update was last fall and culminated in Ordinance 010-24 being adopted by the City Council last fall. Okay, so what are some of the changes? And some of these are kind of in the weeds. These are really just, a lot of these are really just housekeeping items. Okay, covenant and deed restrictions. We are limited from restricting from ADUs and JADUs applicants for the sale of JADUs and allowing for the sale of ADUs when in compliance with all the requirements specified at a government code section. And so we actually, just because it was probably could be helpful, we included that government code section in your staff report. We did have to clarify, as I noted, size limitations on ADUs to be consistent with state law. I think this next one on utilities is really important. So we clarified that an ADU is not required to establish new utility connections. That's including sewer and water as part of establishing it. This really allows the property owner to use that existing sewer and water connection to then be extended to their ADU. That really reduces costs and brings the affordability, just makes it a lot more affordable. We clarify that only the objective design standards specified in the code shall be applied. And so really what the state's trying to do is say, cities and counties, you can't put a bunch of extra rules on these things. We want you to approve these things using a very narrow list of things. And that's what our ordinance has today and is in the ordinance that's before you. Looks like the screen didn't line up quite right. Make a technical cleanup. This one's really kind of in the weeds. Make a technical cleanup in the code that will ministerially approve ADUs and JADUs. Okay, findings, as you've heard from my colleagues tonight, we have to make findings for the things that we do. And this is your rationale for approving or recommending approval, in this case, an item to the city council. So we've laid out some findings for it that are in your resolution. This type of project, the other projects tonight were all environmental documents, several hundred pages, stuff like that. To streamline things, the state law says we actually, to update this ordinance, is not even subject to environmental review per Public Resources Code, section 21080.17. So staff's recommendation is to conduct a public hearing and adopt a resolution basically recommending the city council approve zoning code amendment 2502, utilizing the updated ordinance that's been provided to you, and it's not subject to environmental review. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
We have any questions?
I have one. The detached ADUs or even the attached ADUs, they still have to meet the property line setback requirements?
That's a
back line and
question.
sideline?
There's actually, a lot of times, like in a single family neighborhood, you may have like a 20-foot rear yard setback. You could have a 5-foot side yard setback. They made an exception in the state law where if you have a detached ADU, you can be 4 feet to the side and rear property line.
Okay, thank you.
I actually have a question on this.
Yes, sir.
Just curiosity on it. What about the annexed homes that have septic? How does that work?
So that can really be a limitation. If you're in the city where you have a sewer and water connection, it makes it obviously a lot easier. If you're we're annexed into the city and you have septic, you may be restricted. And the reason why is because on septic, you have to have a primary leach field area and then be able to provide 100% replacement. And when you're talking about smaller lots, you just can't meet the current health and safety code requirements.
I was just curious on that.
Yeah, it will really limit you. In fact, I would say unless you have some acreage to go along with it, you're probably not going to be able to make it.
That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
I have a question. 2 questions, actually. Does the ADU get its own address?
Yes.
Okay, and the last one is, does the face of the ADU have to face the same direction of the house, or can it go in a different direction? Like if it's a corner lot?
Oh, in a corner lot. I'm trying to think. Jesperi, have we seen those? On a corner lot? No, there's nothing in our rules that would require it to be face the same direction. So if you're on a corner lot and you're going to put a detached ADU or attached ADU kind of in your backyard area, you could actually come in from the street side yard and access that way.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one question for you too, Mr. Levy. The public utilities are considered in this, but what about power and gas in areas that are, say, currently have overhead, but the new plans call for underground? Are they going to go to the new requirement, or will they match what is currently there?
So if you have overhead utilities currently serving the existing dwelling, you can still have overhead utilities in order to put in the ADU.
Thank you.
I've got one additional question for access to it. So you can put additional sidewalks down your side yard and a gate alongside so that they don't have to use the existing home to get access to the property.
Yeah, they can have a separate entrance.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you, Doug.
I was to say, I get all the questions tonight, huh?
Yes, you did. All right, I'd like to open the public hearing. We will close the public hearing. Bring it back to the commission for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we adopt the resolution to present to the City Council, recommending the City Council find the project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to the Public Resources Code, Section 21080.17, and recommend the City Council approve the zoning code amendment 25-02 to update the standards for the development of the accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units for consistency with the state law.
Thank you. We have
as amended in tonight's presentation.
Thank you. We have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have future agenda items. Jaspreet.
All right. What a night, huh?
Yes.
All right. So, I think that was probably enough for us for a good whole month. October 8th will be canceled, as well as October 22nd. And then we will potentially be back on November 12th for the next Planning Commission meeting. And with that, it is actually also going to be another subdivision on Elmer Avenue. So please be prepared. And then the November 26th meeting will be canceled since that is the day before Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Reports and communications, Developmental Services Director report, Doug Libby.
All right, so just a few things for you. So first off, I think this came before the Planning Commission right before your new commission got started. And we had a downtown overlay district that was adopted by the City Council on September 2nd. So what that did is, so from along Plumas Street and Center Street, so from Calusa Avenue or Highway 20 down to Bridge, it prohibits new smoke and vape shops. It also prohibits retail sales of alcohol for off-site consumption. So it doesn't affect restaurants, that type of thing. But there is an exception based on a comment made by the public, and it did incorporate wine tasting. So that carve out for wine tasting lives on in the overlay. And I think it works well for kind of what the Downtown Business Association is trying to grow in the downtown. The second item is Merriman Village. So that went before, you saw that at your last meeting, and that went forward to the City Council at a public hearing on September 16th. That was approved by the council. And so they are out for rebid on that project. And so hopefully they're going to get some lower construction costs. They're working with a bank called Five Star Bank. And so they're, I think as you probably heard, they have a shortfall, a budget gap on that they're trying to close because we've got about a $24 million grant to help build phase one. But they do have to close that. And so part of the deal with Five Star Bank and Habitat for Humanity is Five Star saying, hey, if you are going to, we're going to close that funding gap for you, then we would like you to bring over the grant money for the project to our bank in a city-named account. It's a city-named account today. And so I think you can appreciate that because small community banks live and breathe by deposits on account. They just do. And so this helps them out as they kind of hopefully help this project. They're going through the collateral for this is actually based on Habitat for Humanity's assets. It's not the grant. So they're going through appraisals right now. And so hopefully they'll be able to get this sealed up and we'll be able to move forward on that project. The third thing I have for you is, so Circle K, so the Feather River Mills development, which is just off from Plumas on Shasta and Bridge, just north of the Holiday Inn Express, that vacant lot there. So the northwest corner there, there's Circle K's going in there. And so right across the street from KFC. And so they've got their plans in with us right now, and those are going through review. So the entitlements already came through the previous planning commission. And so now they're coming in and they're applying for their building permit. So, and as Jaspreet noted, I think the next public hearing we will have for you will be November 12th. So you're going to get a little time off. He got up and spoke briefly, but I just did want to give a shout out and introduce Josh Wolf. He is our Public Works Director. So you're going to start seeing Josh here also at these meetings. So things Public Works related, he'll be able to help answer the questions if on these subdivisions if Mr. Menard cannot. So, okay. And that would conclude my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have report of actions of the Yuba City Planning Commission and Sutter County update. Yuba City Planning Commission can provide an update on any items that anybody would like to provide an update on. And our Sutter County liaison is not here, so we can skip that one. And we can adjourn our meeting. Everybody have a great night.